But actually, what I wanted to talk about today was your car tire changing video you uploaded.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to do any more car videos, let me know. We can use my camera because your GoPro's audio is a little rough.
Well, that's also because it was windy, and like half the time I was switching back and forth. Well, the mic, I was trying to find a way to do the mic, and the mic itself, I think, actually would work better without the microphone. It's just it would just be the GoPro's mic. Because the one I got, it works fine, but it was just kind of weird.
Well, if you need a windbreak, we can go to my parents. We got the big round shed there, where this video was taken, which is why I did everything in there. Because apart from the echo, but I mean, is it a little lapel mic or is it like a shotgun mic?
For the camera?
Yeah.
No, it's got the whole dang fuzzy thingy.
So on top of the GoPro?
Well, it used to be, but I lost the mount, so I had to get a new one that just sticks off to the side.
Okay, so yeah, it is a shotgun mic. That's what it's called.
Looks like a pen.
Yep, shotgun mic. Yeah, there's boom mic, which is on the big boom, sticks down, and then there's a lapel that sits here, and then the shotgun sits on top of the camera. And then there's podcast mics. But
I have a headset mic.
What do they call Yeti, or what do they call these?
yeah, this is a Yeti.
Yeti.
Everybody in the audio world hates them, but they sound better than the native audio on that. So you know, good enough, right? But no, if you want to do more car videos, let me know. We can use this place for better audio. And we can bust out some of the lights I've got here, some of my studio lights, so we have nice big lighting. We can up that production value. But I was like, the car video, I was like, that's genius. You know how many views it's going to get residually?
You also do realize that there's one person that rules that entire market, correct?
Who does rule the entire?
Chris Fix.
I don't know Chris Fix.
Well, he's got over a couple million subscribers, and he's made videos of basically every single car maintenance thing that you can almost think of, with common hand tools.
Is he an older guy?
No.
No.
He's about our age.
Oh.
But basically, he got big enough where he bought his dad a blue Maserati. He also has a big H1 version of a Hummer.
Wow.
And a Mustang that he turned into a drift car.
I can afford a Hot Wheel version of that.
And a BMW that they took to a race of lemons.
It is a lemon.
Exactly.
One of my coworkers
and his mother a Thunderbird. Does the list keep going on?
Does he have a brother and sister that got cars too?
No, his sister actually has like a little Ford I think it's like a Ford Focus.
He had a Focus.
I had a Focus.
But and to put the cherry on top, red C4 Corvette. That one he's had for a while.
See, if you didn't want to sell yours for scrap, we should have just like beat the crap out of it for some videos and just just rev it, do some stupid stuff with it.
Dude, with what?
His old Ford Focus.
Well, I got like $500 for it. But see, the thing is that it would no longer be legal to drive because my dad would not want, or at least he would make me pay for all the insurance on that as well as my car. Because I paid for the insurance on this car.
Right.
And he was paying for the insurance on the Focus until I got a car. But I knew he was going to tack on the car insurance of the Focus to the Accord. If I chose
both drive Accords?
What?
We both drive Accords?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
2015? Year.
His is a bit older.
Mine's an 05.
Oh.
The same color, though.
Is it really?
Tan.
Tan?
It's parked right out front.
More or less champagne.
I think that is technically the color of mine as well. Champagne.
He has tinted windows.
Yeah, mine's a fishbowl.
Oh.
It's got 240 on the rounds. Actually, no, 230.
My Focus had untinted windows.
Both my cars have untinted windows. And one's just really loud.
Mine's just a junker.
It's a something.
It's something else.
It's a something.
It works, kind of. There's a reason there's a bottle of brake fluid up there. I'm waiting for the day when the brake light just stays on. It currently just pops on and off when it's cold in the mornings.
It sounds like my red car. Except the fact that it was the brakes would be Russian roulette.
Well, it did that one time. I was driving to work one day. This is back in college, and I was driving down the hill on 27th and Superior, and the brakes went out.
Oh.
Not entirely. I had a small.
Well, was it like
brakes.
foot to the floor brake?
Yes.
Okay, that's the problem with mine.
Like
Mine
what,
didn't
you're
do
coming up
that.
a red light?
Mine became a solid rock. The pedal didn't go anywhere.
Oh.
And it would do this on a regular basis when it got hot. So if the car was driving down the road, you'd be driving to work, you hit the pedal, and it'd be like it's stiff. When Motor Trend did an original review over the car, their complaints is that the brake pedal was squishy. So basically, you'd throw your foot down, and it would not go to the floor, but it's like it was very spongy. My car's never been that way. That car never had those kind of brakes on there because it's an electronic brake system. They only had that brake system in like 2 cars for like 3 years, and then they just scrapped it. It was garbage.
I can imagine.
Of course, my car's the one that had that.
Of course.
So when you'd be going down the road, you'd be going at 65, maybe it's like 85 degrees out, and you'd go to hit the brakes, and you could just be trying to roll stop. Nah. It'd start to stop, but you'd have to throw your foot so hard to the floor to try and put the pedal through the floor.
Break your foot.
Basically, to just, coast to a stop.
Yeah, this is very much coasting. I had to coast into the Menards parking lot to park in my spot. Upon which I had to call my uncle back. Yeah, I don't have any brakes. And he's like, and you drove to work? I'm like, well, it happened on the way to work. I was almost there when I went to go hit it down the hill, and it went, and it just went all the way to the floor, and I'm like, oh, well, this is not good.
Well, either way, since that day, I replaced the part that I believe caused the problem, which was, I basically replaced all of the brake parts. I mean, I'm talking the discs, the pads, the caliper itself. I mean, I went the whole 9 yards, all the way around the outside of the car. The only thing I didn't do was the thing under the engine bay. And that was a very expensive fix because I had to buy a whole other car for it.
Ah, yes. Remember, kids. The smart way to repair your car is just buy another one.
Buy another car.
Exactly.
And then take the parts off of it.
So what you're going to do
other
for your hoopty is you're going to go buy another hoopty, so while your other 2 hoopties are in the shop, you can grab the 3rd hoopty. Yeah. That's intelligent.
Yeah.
Just keep buying more cars.
Just keep buying more cars to fix the one you have.
Mermaid Man, buy more cards!
I guess it could
It's a
sell it.
Theseus. At what point does your car no longer become your car?
I think when you replace the frame.
Joke's on you, mine doesn't have a frame.
Oh.
It has a subframe.
Oh, I was going to ask, is it like a Beetle where it doesn't have a frame? It's all
No,
built on
it's like the
body panels?
Mythbusters thing. They turned the car into a motorcycle. It's just an engine on like a piece of metal with a seat and 2 wheels
In the desert.
in the desert.
Oh my god.
And I think if I remember right, they could only drive the car in reverse because they wanted the engine on the back for balance purposes or something.
Yeah, something like that.
On a positive note, we did replace the part, and it basically fixed the point to where when I'd hit the brakes like I had to used to, it would lock up the front wheels, and it's anti-lock
Nice!
brakes. It's anti-lock brakes, and I could lock up the front wheels.
No, but the Mythbusters, they had like 4 reverse gears and then 1 forward gear because it's reverse. So you have 4 speeds going backwards.
Ah,
Sounds
yes.
like a forklift.
They had an episode where they put the engine, where they swapped the car frame around, the body of the car around, so that the back of the car was driving forwards. Because the myth was the cars are more fuel efficient going backwards than forwards. So they. And so Adam had to sit with the the windshield on his head, and he had to drive like this.
And how did he manage?
I don't remember.
Oh.
All I know is that the teardrop shape is shown to be the most fuel efficient way that you can, and of course, there was one time that my dad and I were talking about semis for just the trucking stuff, and it's like in Europe they still make the flat nose cab overs where they're just short trucks because you can't, the roads are so small over there. Well, they're like, well, why on earth did they not necessarily keep them in America? Because they're not. It's a shorter truck. It's lighter. It's like, well, if you're going down I-80 with a piece of plywood strapped to the front end of your vehicle, how do you think fuel efficiency is going to be on that?
Not good.
Oh. Those trucks are like 12 feet tall? Straight pieces of steel?
Yes.
Ah, yes, just a wall.
Like
Literally going down the road with a sheet of plywood at 85.
Like a school bus.
It depends on the school bus.
I was thinking the big long ones, how it's just flat up front.
Well, that's the ones you had. Ours were, the ones from the 70s,
Oh, so
Yeah, if you were there, it was.
They-
Apparently they got a grant now. They're going to be possibly investing in an electric bus. I'd like to see how well that
Let's
goes.
go!
the Tesla bus.
Whew! I mean, they have electric buses here in Lincoln already.
Hmm?
They've been using them since 2020.
See, aren't those ones that have the blue rims?
No, they look just like the other buses, except when you look at the back end, you realize there's a plug-in symbol there, and there's no exhaust. And then you're like, oh, this must be one of the electric ones. Otherwise, it looks exactly like the other buses.
It's the Star Trek buses, or
Yeah.
really? Huh.
They look exactly this. I couldn't tell until I realized, why is there a plug-in there? And then I realized there's no exhaust, and I'm like Googling on my phone as I'm sitting at the traffic stop, like, what? Does Lincoln electric buses? Question mark. And I was like, oh yeah, in April of 2020, they got a grant to get electric buses, and I'm like, oh.
Well, I'll
See,
start looking at
I
it.
see that being intelligent. Like, if you were to get a bunch of electric buses for either public transit or like school systems, like Lincoln Public Schools or all that stuff, that I see as intelligent. But like for us out where we were, like, those buses, especially in the wintertime, they're not going to be able to hold up nearly as good as the diesels are. Just over time in general.
So I'm curious what they're, maybe it's, unless it's
Yeah, but
just
on the cold days, those diesels, what, do they have to start them like an hour before the kids go to school?
Yeah, but still, just in duration wise, your fuel range, the actual just how longevity of the bus, because usually they'll actually discontinue them after 10 years. So any of those buses that are on there, that's how I can always tell which ones are which. I can literally identify which bus driver drives which bus by the number on it, because the way you can identify our buses, especially their year, is by that number on the side. So if it said 16B, that bus is 2016. 17A, that's a 17. 18, 20, 22, that is the year of that bus that came to school.
It seems so ridiculous they're getting an electric one, because they have a bunch of diesels, there's a propane one, and now they're going to have an electric one? It's like, well, pick a bus and stick with it.
But I guess, yeah, so you don't think the battery of the electric bus will outlast?
Not even in the slightest. Not with the way that the technology is done right now. Mm-hmm. You're talking about moving how many thousands of pounds worth of steel?
It's true.
So it's weird. Like the Tesla semi truck, if they change the battery style just in the slightest, like change the current and voltage of these batteries, it makes it go from. Basically, it gets better efficiency the more weight you put on it, because the more voltage you pull on because these batteries are like meant to be pulling high voltages, and so when they pull low voltages, the batteries dump quicker. But when you get under these high voltages, these batteries drain slower and the efficiency goes up. All because they just changed. It's weird. I watched the whole video and they talked about how Tesla semi-trucks, they've put the wrong type of battery in them. They're working on another type of battery that'd be way better to put in there, but they don't have any production lines for them. But they put the standard ones in there, and it's just like, they could get way better range.
Even if you were to do the way better range one, even if they're supposed to go towards that, if you're pulling something that's over 130,000 pounds behind that, that's not going to be, even the diesel engines, like it's, just in general, it's like you can't get rid of that foundation of what actually is going to move it. Because even to do all that, you're still going to need coal.
So the other guy did a video, and because like everybody talks about how, oh, you still got to burn the coal. The coal power plants, there aren't even that many left anymore. It's all natural gas. That power our grid are way more efficient than any engine in any vehicle on the road. And so that's where it comes into play, where using the grid becomes more efficient. And there's also a lot of people like, oh, let's put hydrogen in our cars. Hydrogen's inefficient. You find a way to harvest it raw, which then doesn't require any energy to actually make the hydrogen. Or you just build a battery, because the electric cars, the efficiency is like 90%, because it's literally just the efficiency of the grid and the power plant. and then the efficiency of the thing. With the hydrogen cars, it's still the efficiency of the car, the efficiency of the grid outputting it, and the efficiency of the coal plant taking the coal and converting that into energy, and then the efficiency of converting your water into hydrogen. And so it goes from like 90% just dumping the output of the coal plant into the car, and now you're putting this extra stop in the way and making hydrogen. And so your efficiency goes from like 90 to 50. Still way better than any gas, which is like 20% efficient at the most. And so hydrogen cars currently are just they're stupid.
Hydrogen cars also, you got to think about the amount of fuel stations they have for them and the astronomical amount of the price is for the fuel.
Oh yeah, they don't work. Hydrogen cars right now just don't work.
You know why they don't have water-powered cars, right?
So, but the one thing they did point out about the hydrogen cars is they think that for cars it's a stupid idea, but for semi-trucks it would work much better than batteries. Because the thing with batteries is you want to charge it up fast. Hydrogen you can fill up really fast. It's just like filling up with gas. And so, you can get that speed advantage of the hydrogen. And the thing with the difference between the batteries is the only way to go faster is more power. And so the semi-trucks have to liquid cool the cord to fill up the semi-truck because of how much power they're trying to dump in for how quickly they're trying to fill it up because it's a massive battery. It's like 600 watts. I should say 600 kilowatts. I think because it's 300 kilowatts is for like the current fast chargers, and they have to double that, and so the cord's like this thick because it has to be liquid cooled, so it doesn't just catch on fire.
I'll just put it this way: if a car is going to decrease my fuel mileage because I want to adjust my lumbar, it doesn't interest me. I prefer to not own a George Foreman. They're fun. They're quick off the line. They're entertaining. I still wouldn't want to buy one.
Yeah, that's kind of where it stands right now. It's like, yes, in theory, eventually, electric cars will be, we'll be like, why did we ever drive gas? But that's going to be 20 years, 30 years from now.
I honestly don't think it'll ever go away. I think this will honestly be a constant bickering battle because, heck, I even think steam is, of course, not even... Steam still hasn't even gone away, and we're however many years off that.
What the hell uses steam?
What? Steam? What uses steam?
What, besides power plants, what uses steam anymore?
They still have steam engines that run in transit.
For what?
Passenger trains. Sometimes if diesel locomotives get stuck on the tracks, sometimes if they have to, they'll break out the steam ones.
That's great.
They're not nearly as efficient because you're limited to the amount of water that you can do, but it's like those things will not, unless they obviously rust away and do whatever. Like those things are built to last for centuries.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you could engineer one of those things together.
And especially without a computer. I'll never know how, I'll see the stuff they for the space program and stuff, and I see all the engineering that went into it. I'm like, they did all of this without a basic computer. It was all done by hand, and I'm like, and it got us to the moon. I'm like, what the hell?
Built a computer by hand.
Here, we're going to strap you to a thing that goes shooting up into the air however many miles an hour. We're going to hope that you land on this little circle.
Yeah, that's moving.
It's moving.
And then you're going to try and come back.
And then we got to bring you back. And then the Earth's moving too, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
Sounds like a plan. Strap me in.
And remember, if we're off by even the slightest margin, you'll be dead. You'll be left to drift in space.
Well, no, yeah, it's like you either come in too sharp and you burn up on re-entry, or you come in too shallow, you bounce off the atmosphere and are long gone.
Yeah, or you bounce off and then you stay in orbit for longer than you actually have fuel and oxygen.
No, I'm just saying you bounce off and then you're gone. You're off in orbit around the sun.
You'd have to be going real fast to do that. Not for the moon. Mars, I could see that. Not for the moon, though.
No, coming back from the moon.
Yeah, you're not going fast enough.
What?
You're not going fast enough.
You don't think so?
No, not from the moon. Mars, yeah, I could definitely see you bouncing off. And if you don't perform a correction burn, you're gone. You gotta watch more Kerbal Space Program videos. It's all they discuss.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a reason I wasn't in science classes.
Hey.
This is all going.
Any orbital mechanics is not fun. It goes over my head, too. I hate it. It's like, if we put a circle here, we can get to the moon. And I'm like,
yes.
Why how's the circle work?
It's, trying to think now. 3:30 in the morning is kicking my head's rear end, I'm thinking. But, what was that? Basically, it comes down to... Never mind, I forgot it.
It's gone. Doesn't matter.
It's gone. Someone stole it. I need to go to Cracker Barrel.
Oh, and get what?
Food.
Oh, food?
And a knick-knack.
Knick-knack. I've been to Cracker Barrel once.
You're a sad human being.
My parents never liked it. I don't know why. I mean, it was alright when I was there the one time.
I've only been there like once.
It was in high school. It was before something for FFA. It was like 8 in the morning. I don't remember.
I got a better idea. Let's just go to Hooters.
Hey, I'm down for that. Last time I was in Hooters, it was during the Triple Crown.
I think there's one in Omaha, right?
La Vista.
Oh, we gotta go to Omaha.
You went to Omaha for a Beast Burger.
Yes.
In a snowstorm!
Yes. I mean, I will say, Hooters cheeseburgers are better than Mr. Beast burgers, so. Have you ever had a Beast burger?
No.
Have you had a Hooters burger?
Actually, no.
Oh. Well.
Because when I go up there, I get like the chicken tender one.
Mm.
The Texas toast version.
Have you been to a Hooters?
Nope.
You are a sad human being.
Oh, you been?
Yes.
Oh.
Just went there last night.
Oh, you used to go to the chicken.